Hello, my name's Ant. Again, we're continuing on the subject of Passover. We're going to talk about the seventh day. What do they do on the seventh day, and what do they celebrate on the seventh day of Passover? You might recall that the first day of Passover was a holy convocation. It was a day of rest. And so it is with the seventh day of Passover. And to set a backdrop on this, I'm going to read from Exodus chapter 8, verses 25 to 27. It says, "Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, 'Go sacrifice to your God in the land.' And Moses said, 'It is not right to do so, for we would be sacrificing the abomination of the Egyptians to the Lord our God. If we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, then will they not stone us? We will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God as he will command us.'" And that's Exodus chapter 8, verses 25 through to 27 from the New King James Version of the Bible. All right, so this here sets up what Passover is really all about. There's a very positive message here. They sacrifice the lamb on the 14th of Nisan, that's the first night of Passover. And then Moses said, we'll go a 3-day journey into the wilderness and we will sacrifice the Lord there. So you know something, when that Passover lamb was sacrificed, really that was our setting us. Not only did it redeem us, the price was paid in the lamb's blood, but we were set free. We were set free to go out of Egypt, which is the world, the sinful, fallen world. So they're doing that, and he's talking to Pharaoh about a 3-day journey. Now you recognise the pattern there. Well, with Jesus, he died and rose again on the 3rd day. So he gave us liberty. But there was a problem. They left and they were free, but Pharaoh expected them to come back after 3 days. But they weren't going to do that. They were going to continue going on to the promised land. Now Pharaoh realised this, and he realised they weren't coming back. He probably had all these building projects to do, wanted bricks. They had that new housing estate. People had orders in. They had to build the new marketplace, and there was no labourers to make those bricks. So what happened? Pharaoh got into his chariots with his army, and they pursued the Israelites. Now on the 7th day, they caught up with them. Well, actually more on the 6th day, they caught up with them. And to stop the Israelites from being slaughtered by the Egyptians, God put a pillar of fire between them, because the Israelites were trapped against the Red Sea. Now there is a message in this. As you know, what happened was that Moses stretched out his staff, parted the Red Sea, they crossed through safely, and then God let the Egyptians go through and they were wiped out. The sea closed in over the top of them, and their chariots, their armies were just wiped out. Now this is like a practice run, or like a pattern that's been set for what is coming in the future. Same with Jericho, they're the same story. Basically what's happened is that we've been set in slavery to sin, we're in slavery to the world, and the prince of the world, or the pharaoh of this world, is Satan. He's got us under bondage. But what happened? The Lamb set us free. His blood washed us, he redeemed us. We were free. We were free to go out. And that's what he did. That's our redemption that he bought for us. The most positive thing about Passover is the redemption he brought us. But then the enemy, the world, comes and chases. Now the sea often represents the nations. You'll see this come up many times. The nations, the peoples of this world, and they were in opposition to Israel, to God's chosen people. But what happened when Pharaoh and his mob came to pursue them and to wipe them out? God stood up for them. What he did was he put that pillar of fire, and fire represents judgment. You know something? We are warned of the judgment coming. That is all through the Bible. But he delivers God's people. Israel set through the sea, and then the devil and his cohorts, the world, are destroyed. They're judged. And same with Joshua. They pass over the Jordan. That's the same thing. They have ways made through the nations for them. They come to the city of Jericho. They have to march around that for 6 days without saying a word. That's the 6 days of the enslavement of the world. They're silent. But on the 7th day, they march around 7 times, which represents the 7-year tribulation. At the end of it, they give a shout, and Jericho falls. That's the kingdom and its king, and the kingdoms of this world fall, and they are defeated. And that's when they march into the promised land. So that's what we commemorate on the last day of Passover. We remember the sea when Moses stretched out his rod to cross the Red Sea and the waters parted. Many good movies made about that. So we've been set free, we're free to worship, and what's going to happen is it sets the template for what's coming ahead in the end times. God will come back, and before he does that, he establishes Israel in the land, which he's already done. Now he takes us out, the church is taken out before the judgment, and you can see that it's all through the Bible. Enoch is taken out before the flood comes. You look at Daniel is not there when the three men, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, are in the fiery furnace. It's a type of Israel going through that time of trial, but he's not there. There's always an element of somebody missing, and it represents the church, the beloved. So we're not there, but Israel will come. Now that judgment will come to this world. It will be judged. The kings, the generals, all the systems of this world will be judged. But we have been set free from that. And that's the exciting message of Passover. And yes, Jesus will come back and establish his 1,000-year millennial reign. Well, that's it from me now. God bless, and bye for now.